ago that 3 of those Chinese scientists got sick, but media wouldn't cover it, and social media companies took down anyone who tried to talk about it. Fauci knew about that at the time, and he knows for a fact that gain-of-function research was funded by the U.S. It was going on in the Wuhan lab. There is so much documentation and so many receipts for the payment of that work. Fauci knows it, but notice what he's saying. He's not saying for sure that it happened in the lab. He's saying, oh, there's a possibility that this might have happened. And he keeps saying, but I don't really know what goes on there.
I'm not convinced about that. I think that we should continue to investigate what went on in China until we find out, to the best of our ability, exactly what happened.
He's trying to give himself political cover here. He's trying to say, maybe China did something, but I don't know anything about it. But it's possible because he knows that the trail leads very clearly there, and he did know about it. No question about that.
Okay, so let's say if he did know, and you're right, back last year we were talking about this, you were reading it. Facebook was censoring anybody who posted this. So the question is the timing. Why now? What could actually happen to a country or a person that could actually have, on purpose, led people astray from the truth and how COVID was actually developed?
Well, there are a series of things that would happen. First of all, I don't think any country will face any problems or sanctions as a result of it, but individual people might. So people like Ralph Barrick, who works over at UNC, the University of North Carolina, who's been conducting gain-of-function research now for decades, or people like Anthony Fauci, who have spent millions upon tens of millions, 60 million U.S. taxpayer dollars, in fact, on gain-of-function research through the NIH and through the NIAID. They could face serious consequences here, possibly even criminal charges, because remember, in 2014, the U.S. government banned and outlawed gain-of-function research for exactly this reason. Fauci offshored it with a wink and a nod and said, yeah, go ahead and keep doing it. He's also funded it through the Pentagon, through DARPA. And so DARPA has actually been conducting a lot of this research as well. Those programs should be shut down immediately.
Ben, all things we've been reporting on for the past year, you've been talking about.
That's right.
So then how does China get involved? The lab was in China that they outsourced it to. Why wouldn't the Chinese government, A, be held responsible for knowing what was going on within their borders? But B, we're hearing the World Health Organization initially came out and said, oh, it's no big deal. Don't shut your borders. This isn't going to be a big deal. Shouldn't there be a government, whether it be the U.S. government, the Chinese government, somebody held responsible for this?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about that. But look, the WHO is an unbelievably corrupt organization. And the man who runs the WHO, when he was working as the primary health minister in Ethiopia, was incredibly corrupt at the time. The world knew about that. He's now at the head of the WHO. He's corrupt there. The Chinese government pays them off. Bill Gates is actually the largest funder to the WHO and outfunds the WHO beyond any governmental entity. And of course, he owns all these patents on the coronavirus vaccines. So it's just a trail of impropriety, of conflicts of interest, of corruption, and it goes very, very deep. So the WHO giving them more money does nothing to fix this because the WHO has known about it. The last thing is there's a guy named Peter Daszak who apparently has talked about gain-of-function research. He talked about it in 2019, just before the coronavirus. He was the sole American allowed to be on the panel that reviewed the Wuhan lab. Daszak was a part of the funding of the Wuhan lab, but was allowed to decide that, oh, the Wuhan lab had nothing to do with it. The whole thing is a scam. It stinks. We all know it stinks. It's just taking too much time, in my opinion, for the truth to leak out.